What's up, fight fans? And we're back at it with another edition of Round One Sports TV. I am your host, Edwin, and we're going to be breaking down some of the biggest fights. So, let me get a little audio check. Fans, and we're back at it with Sounds good. Edition of Round One Sports TV. That sounds good. So, we're going to be breaking down some of the biggest fights and some of the stories that are headlining in boxing right. We have Jake Paul's allegedly fighting old ass Mike Tyson right now. And I want to get your reactions and what you feel about a fight like that. We're gonna break that fight down, as well as some of the biggest fights too. I want to talk about real quick the Anthony Joshua knockout with Francis Ngannou, right? And in one of my previous videos, I had made a statement about when you're in a fight, and for some of us, you're so focused and locked in the fight that you don't know what happened in the fight. And I said it. I said, well, I've been in a couple street fights, and I had to look at my friend and ask him, yo, how'd I do? And he was like, no, you were doing great, and and I said it. If you were to have a microphone there and to ask me questions about the fight, I couldn't tell you how the fight played out. I was like, yo, you can I see is the replay? Right? So it's funny, right? That I was talking about that, and that's exactly what Anthony Joshua. I mean, he was so focused in the fight, right? I want you to see this clip. In fact, I'm gonna put it up, and we're gonna hear the audio together, right? And I want you to, want you to see his reaction. I look, I was like, wow, that's just, that's how it is. All right, let's take a listen and um can you guys hear that? All right, can you hear the audio on this video? Let me know. Yes, it was. You cannot hear the video. Okay, thank you. Hold on. Hold on. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's rewind this. I caught it. Let's rewind it. This is the interview right here.
Phone check, microphone check, Delicious TV with IFL and the rum from
What's
Boo.
up, Lionheart? Thank you for
How
joining
are
the
you,
channel.
sir?
Bro, let me tell you something. I was meant to be doing a BBC radio commentating on your
Pretty
fight.
sure you can hear it now.
I did Joseph
Let me know.
with Zhang,
Yeah.
and then I saw you warming up and the build up, and I said, listen, I can't sit here and talk about your fight. I need to be on the corner there because, getting pumped because I can't do it. I left, I came and sat down, I saw you walk in calm as a daisy, bro.
Yeah.
And when you walk in, you didn't do much. You
But
you
look
just
at his
came,
face,
walked in,
right? Like,
went
he
to your
knows
corner, and
he's
then
about to be asked what happened.
ding, ding,
He's fresh out
ding,
of the fight.
round one. I mean, the double jab, and then he read your movements a little bit of you to the body.
Yeah,
Because you're not coming up so fast.
Coming with the
Yes.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, in the first round, wham, boom.
Was it the first round?
You did-
No,
you-
it must be the second.
The first round,
See?
I think you dropped. No, it was the second round.
The
It
second
must
round.
be the second.
Three times.
In the first,
What
no, you
round
dropped
was-
him. You dropped him in the first, didn't you?
What round was it called off?
You dropped him in the first.
In the first
Yeah.
round?
Yes.
Look at his reaction
Well,
on
you
his
dropped
face.
him
He
in the
didn't
first
even know you
round.
knocked him
Yeah.
down in the first round.
Straight round.
Yeah, he turned southpaw.
I didn't
Yeah, he
know.
turned southpaw. He
So
turned
you
southpaw.
went straight right hand.
Boom.
Yeah. And then second round, I think you mastermind this shot, yeah. where you just go with your whole body, and then suddenly it's sure you can do it.
See, and that's what I wanted you to see. You know, in the heat of battle, you know, a fighter can be so focused that, you know, he's looking for you to tell him, "Hey, what happened?" You know, because he doesn't. He's not. You know, he doesn't remember. He like all he concentrated was on doing his job. That's all he concentrated on. You know, so it goes to show you that that's how focused he was in. That he didn't even remember he knocked him down in the first round. You know, he probably saw on the big screen, and they when they were interviewing him after the fight, and he was seeing the punch. You know, directly after the fight, I saw him. You know, he didn't see what the shot it was, but he knew he had did his job. You know, and that's that's uh that's something I was talking about. Now all of a sudden, for some reason, so did you guys were able to hear this? Let me know. This is I don't I don't know. Today's one of those days, bro. She just wants to mess with me. Yeah, the video came through clear. A little loud though. All right. So now I know. See, some of these videos audio it's probably louder than, some of my audio and stuff, so I got to figure shit like that out. Yeah, Lionheart, man. Look, that knockout was hard to watch, but it was a real eye opener for the sport, and I believe it was necessary. It comes into to right into the this Jake Paul debacle. About Jake Paul wanting to fight old Mike Tyson. Now, many people right away might hear the name Mike Tyson, and they're just gonna attach that to the fighter he once was. Mike Tyson was an exceptional heavyweight. He was brutal. He was a real force to be reckoned with. You know, and Jake Paul wants to drag out Mike Tyson's ass out there and beat on an old legend and think that he even in victory like he did something. Even if Mike Tyson, let's say that he has 60% of his punching power still left, and he still has some snap on his pop, right? He's still 60 years old. You can hit him with a jab, his brain's gonna rattle, he's gonna go down. Jake Paul is a young, like, although Jake Paul doesn't possess all the skill in the world, but strong he is. And just in a blitz, he's probably gonna run through Mike Tyson. And it's probably gonna be hard to watch if Mike, but a legend's a legend. They always say you got that one last good one left in you. You know, I would like to fantasize over the fact that I could see where a version where Mike Tyson comes out victorious in this fight. His twitch muscle movements are not there. He doesn't have the bounce in his step. He's gonna be a stationary target. It's gonna be for Mike to be able to move his hips and see if he can evade a shot to land one good shot. He won't be able to drag him out into like 8 rounds. He fought against Evander Holyfield, right? And I think that he looked pretty good against the fight against Evander. I mean, not Evander Holyfield. I'm sorry, Roy Jones Jr. And I think he looked pretty good against Roy Jones Jr. But you got to keep it in mind how many years ago that was. You know, um, look, I don't think that Mike should have taken this fight against Jake Paul, if you ask me. I believe they're just setting him up for failure, right? But, you know, everyone doesn't age the same, and everyone, I've seen older men fight, you know, pretty decent, but taking a blow to the head is different. That's without any punches coming back. I mean, and Jake Paul's brute, just a blitz attack. I'm not sure if Mike Tyson can sustain that. All he has to do is just 30-second blitz, the hardest punches he can throw. It's basically all he has to do, if he wanted to, because I don't think Mike's going to be able to evade it. I don't think Mike's going to be, take, even if he took punches to the gloves and he blocked most of Jake Paul's punches, they're still going to rattle him, you know? Um, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't see, this is that shit I'm talking about, that legends at the end of their career put themselves in these situations and it fucks up their record as a legend. You know, Jake Paul is going to want this fight to go down on the record books. As of right now, he's trying to get ranked in boxing, but he's not fighting any boxers. And I don't know where he pulled that other guy out of, what bar he took, and people try to give him credit on that fight like he beat somebody. Who the hell was that guy? That guy hadn't fought in like 5 years, I heard. I try to look a little bit into that guy. It was pathetic. And they try to judge him like on a performance, like if he actually did something. It's really like smoking mirrors, his career. You know, upsetting to some real boxers, yes. Is it bringing eyes to the sport of boxing? Yes. So, like, it pisses me off that there are boxers out here that are starving, that are real fighters, and they're not making that kind of money. Unfortunate, but at the same times, I can't hate on Jake Paul. He is doing a lot of good things for Puerto Rico. And, I guess for the most part, the fighters that are next to him seem to be making money too. So, you got to take the good with the bad. Everything, I do judge and question him for the performances and the fighters that he's fighting, but I also see the flip side to the coin, where that he is helping out other fighters. He's been, criticized, and I guess in some aspects, you're not gonna please everyone. You know, what's up, Lionheart? It is true. There's no knockout. Hmm. Yeah, it's just like smoking mirrors with Jake Paul's. He wants this perception of beating these guys with these names. But after the fight, when the moment clears and the people's starts to think like, wait a minute, he really didn't fight anybody. He fought an old Nick Diaz and old Silva. Like, these guys are not boxers. As you can see, when world class boxers do their job against those kind of guys, the world gets an eye opener. What happened to Francis Ngannou? Listen, Francis Ngannou is a fighter. He's an athlete. Okay, he was the type of man that could pull it off, but at some point, experience is going to show its ugly head. You're not going to be able to do the natural movements of a boxer. What you saw there was Anthony Joshua putting him in boxing situations. I talked about this. He 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 made him bite on a feint and came over his hand with that overhand right. Francis Ngannou stepped into that shot, the one that dropped him, that had him really badly hurt in the second round. He stepped into that shot. Yo, Anthony Joshua saw that rookie mistake so big, that window was so wide, that he pulled the trigger so fast that he looked like a young, prime Anthony Joshua. And and I've talked about this. If you were to take some lower opponents and put them in the ring with this guy right here, that's kind of shit you're gonna see when you got a skill gap. And that's what we were supposed to see against Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury fucked around. Yeah, he did. And I know this reflects Tyson Fury as a boxer. Because now, what does this make him look like? You see? And Anthony Joshua, to keep it 100, he's on a roll. And the one thing that Anthony Joshua got on all these guys on the low, not even on the low, if you were just paying attention, you would notice he's active. He's hell of active. Yo, he's coming off fight after fight after fight. When you talk about a fighter rebuilding himself back up from losses that really affected his mental, this is exactly what you're supposed to do. What Anthony Joshua is doing, that's what you're supposed to do. He's building himself back up, getting confidence. That knockout right there did something for him. He feels like the old Anthony Joshua, undestructible, unbeatable. I'm on a roll. I don't got no time to think about a loss. I'm coming off a devastating knockout that may be the knockout of the year. He laid that man flat, bro. His body slid off the canvas slowly. His leg was twisted. You saw it. You saw it. Yeah. It might be knockout of the year. So, you know, look, I still would love to see Francis Ngannou. I believe he'll be back. I believe I still want to see him fight. I think that he should take a little bit lower opposition. I think he's qualified to fight them. The man can fight. He just has to get more sparring, continuous sparring, okay? And get himself some real boxing coaches. That guy from with the dreads that came from the UFC, he might be a striking coach for, you know, f- get yourself a real boxing coach and under real some of these real good gyms that have trained great heavyweights. And if Francis Ngannou can get hooked up with someone like that and really take him under his wing and get him the proper sparring with big size heavyweights, because it's hard to find sparring for these size men. If you think these guys just walk in the gym every day and just a big human just pops up, it doesn't work that way. Unless you have connections with other gyms and either you fly in good top prospects or you go out there, to fight them, then you're just fighting the same guy every day and you're sparring against the same guy every day. You're not going to get any better. You might get better against him, but that's not going to get you better. And when it comes to men this size, they're not around, just, it's not like getting a guy at 140, 150. They're a dime a dozen. You see? You find me a guy 6'6", 291 that can fight. That's going to make him better. That's not going to be a punching bag. You need someone that big. So you guys got to get in, so that's where those world class gyms come in handy. That's where the connections come in. And that's where Francis Ngannou can get that much better. EK Training, what's up? Paul and Logan Paul is a product of Mayweather effect. Blame Mayweather. Listen, that's what money will do. Fucking money, huh? Fucking money. They paid to know they were going to lose, but to get star status by putting Mayweather in the ring with him alone. I don't believe they expected to win. All they needed was to Mayweather sign up to that fight, and their names would have took off. anyone Mayweather gets in the ring with, right? Look at Canelo. Look at Canelo, right? And with the buzz that Jake Paul and his brother already had, Logan Paul, that's all he needed to get a legend in the ring with him. And once he got Mayweather, listen, they paid Mayweather heftily for that. And then Mayweather kept all the money, and Jake Paul was like, "Yo, he didn't pay me, man. Fuck you. I'm, you ain't getting shit." Hey, yo, yo, Mayweather don't get in bad with him, bro. And he is who he is. You know, you don't think he got all them goons around him, and you just gonna walk upon him? Listen, run your mouth to him in his gym or anywhere else if you want to. Okay? You mean to tell me you're dealing with a man that hangs around the most elite fighters in the world his entire life, and the people that walk around them are probably some of the best fighters in the world? He argues, intimidates, fights the top fighters in the world, and you're thinking about doing what? You're arguing with who? He what you ain't scared of that man? Like what? Like, yo, so listen, he says, let's see here. Okay, Boxing TV says Mike Tyson. He didn't train him for the first fight. Let's get that out of the way. When you started hearing that all over YouTube, he was an advisor for him at the first fight, meaning Mike Tyson stepped in and some cameras filmed him on some days. It wasn't like Mike was waking up with Francis Ngannou at the crack of dawn and going with a stopwatch, "Let's go, kid." You know, there was none of that shit. Mike Tyson walked in a couple days out of the week at some point in his training camp and gave him pointers. That's it. That's all Mike did. And because of who Mike is and his name, all of a sudden, some asshole boxer, they started getting all the other boxers to turn on Mike. Because what they started doing is saying, "Oh, this is mixed martial art versus boxing." Mike, how could you be a legend in boxing and you're siding with the mixed martial artists? And what Mike Tyson was trying to say was, "What are you talking about taking sides? I'm not taking sides. I'm just helping out another black man. That's it." He's a fighter. He's interested about fighting. I love fighting. He asked me a few questions. I gave him a few pointers. They dragged Mike into this. Mike never wanted to be, he was picking sides and none of that shit. Mike saw brother training and he was like, "Yo, do this, this, and this." Mike does that all the time. He's done it with countless of people. He's a student and a teacher of boxing. Mike realizes all the shit he's been taught throughout the years. He doesn't mind sharing it with people. And some asshole took that out of content and they backed Mike into a corner. So Mike, being Mike, he embraced the situation. Mike said, "Fuck it, I'll side with him." And that's pretty much what happened. Then when fucking Tyson Fury came out with all them champions, Mike was on an island by himself. You know, they made it seem like, he had no choice. Mike was being Mike. Mike ain't gonna be bullied by no one. He ain't gonna be bullied by 100 fucking boxers because that's Mike, right? So Mike held his head up high, and to his surprise, Francis Ngannou pulled off that performance. Mike went off the rocker. He was running around that shit like, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." Mike was like, right? Because Francis shocked the world. You get it? You see? So, like, although Mike got more credit than what he actually deserved, it was deserving because they put him in that situation. So if you're gonna put me there, then I'm taking credit for it. That's how Mike felt. Now, Francis Ngannou on this fight, maybe he wanted like to believe a little bit too much in himself, and he started fucking around with these dudes I guess he thought he had boxing figured out. I don't know. Mike's also doing his own thing. Mike got 100 things going on. Mike got his weed shit, his podcast shit. He got his kids, all 20 of them, dude. And like he got like mad. So I don't think Mike had the luxury to give him the attention he really needed for the second fight. But by looking in Francis Ngannou's corner, he didn't have any like legendary coaches. He didn't have anybody recognizable that I said, yeah, this guy has to be teaching him right. That dude with the dreads, listen, a striking coach is not a boxing coach. I don't care if you know how to choke somebody. As you can see, it's a different game. Had he had a good eye for boxing, he would have taught Francis, don't bite into that. Don't step into that right hand. That was so amateurish that when Anthony Joshua tried to land it the first time, he just missed him, but he did clip him, and he hurt Francis with that shot. If you go back and watch the fight with the first right, that it kind of got stifled a little. But look at Francis Ngannou's character when he broke. Yo, he kind of wobbled, and I was like, yo, that punch might have did a little bit more than what I think, right? And that was the right hand that was his demise right there. Kudos to Anthony Joshua for being a two-time world champion and a highly decorated fighter, okay, for noticing such an amateur flaw in your defense. He said, oh, there it is. It's right there, right hand. Pow. You switch left, pow. You switch back to right, pow. Same punch. Same punch. And look where boxing experience came into play. When Francis Ngannou was standing in front of him, when he dropped him, and the referee gave him the benefit of doubt to go out on his shield, Anthony Joshua knew enough. You ain't all there. This is a clean right knockout. This is a grand slam home run, and the guy just pitched you a meatball. You're seeing everything. It was like cock, good night. Home. Yo, laid him out. Listen, when you got the prince that's hosting the event leading up into the fight, whispering in your ear, Anthony Joshua, don't let this guy come into this fight and show you us out. He's on the side of boxing. He said, go in there and do what you're supposed to do. Do not let this guy beat our top guys in boxing. I want you to go in there and do your job. Otherwise, show him no mercy. Am I right? And he went in there and did exactly that. He went in there and did exactly that. Oh, I see what's up. My bag. My bag. I had this up on there too. Yeah. Lionheart says, when AJ knocked out Francis, I was screaming so loud. It was like, listen, those kind of moments is why I watch boxing. For those moments in particular. You know what I mean? And if you notice, I have this man right here, Naoya Inoue. He is one of the hardest punchers in boxing right now, and he brings that kind of excitement to all of his fights when I watch him. I just recently purchased my little Japanese dragon here, and you probably can't see it as good because of the belt, but I got to find a way to get him a little bit better. I looked up the dragon, in Japanese culture, and there's like different translations for it, but they're all pretty much good and stuff. So it's cool. But what I really want to do is get a bigger poster. I'm gonna have to raise some more money, get some donations or something. And we're gonna put one right up in this area, get rid of this wolf right here. But them shits is mad expensive, bro. I go online and check them shits out. Woo! So we're gonna raise up and we're gonna get him something. We're gonna show the man a little bit more love. Here, we're gonna get him something real nice because he is truly something special. He is doing things in the sport of boxing that it is the reason why one of the reasons why I started to covering boxing because of men like him. He got me to see other men in this sport. Speaking of which, right now, Subriel Matias is being, he needs an opponent right now for his upcoming fight. One of the names that are being kicked around is one of the Gary Antoine Russell Jr., right? Um, he listen, that's a good fight too, man. That's a good fight. Okay, now I would like him. Look, let's be honest. Subriel needs to pick an opponent that is going to likely fight him. Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, they already got their thing going on. They seems to have already an alternate. So let's just keep him out of that. Let's get him that fight that he wants in Puerto Rico, and let's see if it can be against a great opponent. Being that the Russell is also undefeated, interesting enough, they pretty much got the same record, except Subria got that one loss that he revenged. But so he's got a great knockout record, Last time I had checked, it was like 17-17. You know, um, we're gonna look him up right here real quick. Uh, because he was an honorable mention. The Russell, he has a great style. He's strong. He comes from a line long of brothers. Their father, God rest his soul, he passed away. But they're he's a worthy opponent. He's not his brothers. And when I think about the Russells, sometimes I have a bad habit of judging them in a whole. Like if one fights for the other or what one does in his performance merits the other ones. No, he would be fighting this one. Okay. And I like that fight. I like that fight. I like that fight because they're two guys that are going to bring the action. I don't think none of these guys are going to get on their bicycle. I think that they're going to meet each other. I think it's going to be another exchange of strength and power punches to see, um, everybody's banking on the fact that it gets hit too much, right? And as I watch his fights, I start to realize the kind of shots he gets hit with. Yeah, some of those shots are hard. Yes. He rolls real good with some of them. He rolls. He knows how to roll with shots. Then when I notice when he does get hit, is because the other guy's being a little bit too defensively stingy. He's not opening up. Subriel kind of like laws his opponent into the sense that you can hit him. So all of a sudden, his hand gets lazy and he dips over here. He kind of tucks it in and he takes the shot. The guy takes the shot, then all of a sudden the guy wants to let off another one too. And then when the guy gets a little bit more comfortable, boom, Supriere hits him with a big shot. And I'm like, yo, he baited him into that. This guy was just shelling up on him. So Subriel laxed on the defense, allowed him to hit him, and he got him to exchange. And that's what Subriel wanted him to do. It was to open up. So I was like, ah. But and then there were shots that guys did get good shots in on him. You're in a boxing match. You're due to get hit. You're due to get hit. Now, a lot of people like we've seen many different styles in boxing, and some people are saying, when will the armor crack for Subriel? They believe that he's taken a lot of big shots, and it's just a matter of time where there's a crack in the armor. When they saw him go down in that for the first time in his career, that was really the deciding factor in the fight. And I still think, with even with that knockdown, he should have won that fight. So he revenged that only loss in spectacular fashion. He made him quit on the stool. There's no other better way to revenge your only loss, so that was, so he's one of the men that I would consider. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's a great. I mean, he's a IBF champion right now. So every fight he's going to be putting the title on the line. So the fact that you're going to fight the top guys, that's great. And then maybe in the future, after Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia get that fight out of the way, then we can look forward to more bigger fights. Teofimo Lopez will also get his fight out of the way, and let's see what happens. Listen, I think I got Rolly in this fight, bro. Think I got Rolly in this fight. Yo, yo. Uh, Homeboy's weight is not convincing me, bro. He just doesn't look. This is one of those fights where we're getting another fight that guys are not fighting their own fighters in the division. It seems like there's been this trend in boxing. Whenever a guy wins a fight now, he wants to go to fight the guy in the upper weight division or something, or he wants to fight some MMA fighter. It's like they're never not like the trend now is not to call out the number one contender or the number one ranked opponent to your title in your division. Why don't we hear that more often in the sport of boxing? Why don't they call out the next man up? Um, Last night in the UFC, right? It was interesting. Sean O'Malley, congratulations to your victory over Marlon Chito Vera. Sean O'Malley really showed that he's serious about being a world champion. The next time you see that fighter, you should see a better version of that fighter. In fact, at his last fight, at his title fight, I was in attendance at that fight. I saw him win his world title in Boston. I was there. Um, and he really showed that if a fight would have broken out in the first fight against him and that free kick behind the knee wouldn't have occurred, uh, I wanted to see what would happen if a fight broke out, and we did. Sean O'Malley looked great. He took care of business. He controlled the distance. He kept Cheeto honest. He kept um, applying that front kick to the stomach and working his jab downstairs. He was working his jab beautifully all night. He hit him with a big knee in the face. It looked like it really busted him up. Yo, kudos to Marlon Cheeto Vera. He's one tough motherfucker, bro. Yo, any lesser man would have went out with that knee, bro. I'm gonna tell you, bro. You gotta be trained to take shit like that, bro. You're just not gonna. No, anybody else was going out with that knee that Sean O'Malley hit him with. So that was a big shot. Um, and what I was saying leading into this was the fact that Gilbert Burns fought against Jake, and what happened was when he took this fight, he said, I'm not going to sit back on my ranking. When I was a young fighter coming up, I wanted an opportunity. Fighters like, um, uh, uh, what's his name there? That Jake Paul knocked him out. Tyrone Woodley gave me an opportunity. He said, fighters like that gave me an opportunity, and I'm not going to sit on my ranking. This young guy trying to come up, he wants to fight and get an opportunity to climb up to the top guys, and I'm willing to give him that opportunity because when I wanted an opportunity, some guys gave it to me, and I'm not gonna hide behind my ranking and say no, you're so low. He took a chance out there and he lost the fight. He was winning the fight too. In fact, I believe, and the guy with like a minute and something, I thought he was gonna end. The fight was gonna end right there. I was like, he got him. Yo, the dude rolled out, man, hit him with the knee. I was like, yo, did that fight change in a blink of an eye? I was like, it was crazy. So that's what I was meaning to say. That was my point that, you could see some fighters will not hide behind their ranking. And they will not hide behind the fact that now they're the champion. They're gonna give the next man up an opportunity. And in boxing, there's this trend where they're not respecting the struggle, and they're forgetting about when they were in the back and they were raising their hand. Hey, champ, give me a chance. And the moment you get there, you start doing the same shit you criticize the champ for doing. You're not acting like the champ you claim that you would be. You went right along with everything else. And that's why I love fighters like this. He truly cleaned out divisions. He fought the guys, the tough fights. He fought only the champions. There is nothing else you can ask him to do unless he was fighting two of them at the same time in the ring, or one after another. I mean, there's no more. There's no higher ceiling for what he's doing. And some people would like you to think he ain't doing nothing. Really? Then why ain't your favorite fighter doing it? Look, I ah this guy, he's just on another level, and it's hard sometimes to really sit here and pretend like what he's doing is not really that incredible. And then sometimes it's like, look, I've never seen it. And I've seen great fighters, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Hag. I've seen Roberto Duran. I've seen, the list goes on. I've seen the greatest fighters, man. Yo, Felix Trinidad was just like a dog, and I love Camacho. He was such a showman. And different fighters for different reasons. I've seen some of the greats. I was raised in a great boxing era. Although I never had the privilege to watch Ali fight or any of those kind of guys, but good thing we have YouTube and I can click on anytime. Caught up, there it is, right? Seen it, So I've had the privilege to watch fighters, and when you see a fighter do this, it makes me feel like there he is. That's, all the questions I've ever asked about my favorite fighter, about like, man, Ali would have been way better if he didn't go to jail. Man, Floyd would have been a way better champion had the other champions fought him. Man, right? Right? Um, there was a lot of champions that I was like, had this not happened to Mike Tyson, had he not gone to jail for the freaking rape, um, uh, uh, you can pick out any legend, and there's probably something that happened to him, right? Okay. That being said, all of a sudden, there's this guy that has amazing skills. Wow, he's not arrogant. He's not cocky. He's kind of Tom Brady-ish. He doesn't wear all the gold chains. He doesn't have a flock of women. He's not cheating on his wife. He's not out there drunk, smashing his car into things, abusing his power of a boxer. He ain't doing any of that shit. Oh shit. What is he doing? Winning fight after fight, title after title, beating champion after champion, climbing at weight division after weight division. Wait a minute. Is this real? You start to check in on him, and I start to watch fight after fight after fight. And what my eyes tell me is that what I'm witnessing is real skill. Real skill. This ain't no tomato. He ain't fighting tomato cans. No, he's fighting some Hall of Fame fighters, world champion after world champion, defending his title, making his mark. I mean, for God's sake, a man of this size has us talking about him. Why? It's his performance. You've never heard him speak a word of English, but yet you're curious. You can't help to see what your eyes are telling you, can you? When he came into that fight against Stephen Kubo Fulton, what did most people have you fooled? What were they saying about him? They weren't saying he was the man that he is, were they? No, they weren't. They wanted you to believe that the American black slick style would defeat him. That they didn't want you to look into the fact that he was merely just that good. It couldn't have been that, right? So, what they do, they painted you the prettiest picture ever. They called Stephen Kubo Fulton the greatest 122-pound champion, which he did have the WBC and the WBO leading into that fight. So much so that his confidence level was, I'll go to Japan. Why? Because this fight's going to be easy. If you ever heard any interview of Stephen Kubo Fulton leading into that fight, he was cocky, confident, and arrogant. Even his peers talked about it. People like Jerron Boots Ennis and said, I don't see how there's any way that this small Japanese guy moves up from 118 pounds and challenges the much bigger champion that is currently undefeated. And by the way, I'm going to speak up for Scooter right now. He should be placed higher on the pound for pound list. Remember that shit? Crazy talk, wasn't it? When he walked into that ring on Japan, he quickly noticed on that night he was outskilled and outgunned. And everything they said about the Japanese superstar was true. That was a hard pill to swallow. He gave that man a different kind of ass whooping to Stephen Kubo Fulton. He humbled that man all the way until that point. According to Stevie Kubo Fulton, he was the best thing since sliced bread. And why wouldn't he think that? No one else proved him wrong, right? It was such a dominating performance, and that was such an humbling experience for Stephen Kubo Fulton that he didn't win a single round. I mean, even if he, at least he would have made the fight competitive, he could have walked away with that. Yo, listen, he couldn't do anything. He got shut down from the moment that bell rang. And he realized there's levels to this. This man is on a different level. And the world soon's gonna find out. Trust me when I tell you, when you tune in to his fight against now um upcoming Luis Pantera Nares. Listen, Luis Nares is a Mexican fighter. He's a gritty fighter. And what makes this fight intriguing in a lot of different ways is that Luis Nares, ironically enough, has been in this exact situation where that he was venturing out to Japan to fight who? Their next big superstar. He was fighting an undefeated fighter. Luis Nares was the underdog going into enemy's territory, daring to be great. Although he was caught for a banned substance, I looked into it, and the substance that he was banned for was a weight cutter, meaning he could no longer make the weight, but the opportunity was too great to pass up. And that's what I mean, that sometimes some of these athletes are willing to even cheat to to sacrifice to dare to be great, because even though he did that weight cutter thing PE that he took wasn't going to win the fight for him. That shit don't box for you. He legitimately beat that Japanese dude's ass. So much, in fact, that they rescheduled the fight, but without doing the PE, because you know Japanese had a close eye on him, right? He couldn't take it. And it showed that he could no longer make that weight. His body had outgrown it. So much, in fact, that he came in 5 pounds over. At that point, I think he could have got lower, right? He could have really tried to sacrifice and squeeze the water out, but he was probably gonna come up short 2 or 3 pounds anyway. At that point, his coach and his trainers told him, stop cutting weight. By the time, they got it calculated. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. So stop hurting yourself and putting your body through this. Just accept it. So he stopped in midpoint of cutting weight. He just stopped. And that's why he was so heavy with 5 pounds. They took that as a huge disrespect. And I was against that. And I was like, wow, I think that that was a little harsh and severe. I believe that a suspension was merit, a lifetime ban. I was a little hard on Japan for that because I think that that was showing a lot of favoritism because they gave him the ban because their butt hurt over the fact that he beat their superstar. But in fact, I later, took that back because I went back and I viewed their culture and their ways, their rules. Man, they've kicked out people for less. So they actually gave Luis Nares a break after testing positive for the PE, not banning him and getting the next fight. He technically they would have banned him for the first one for life. So he was given multiple opportunities, and this was kind of like disrespecting them. So Now viewing it like that, I'm like, okay. But still, that's they're no nonsense, huh? You're out of here. The rest of your life. Not out of the game, not out for a year, forever. It's crazy, right? But Luis Narez has been in this situation where he has played spoiler. He's the type of fighter that doesn't know that he's supposed to lose. He's the type of fighter that he's going to go into this fight, and believe me when I tell you, he's going to give it everything he has. Whether or not you believe that his fight style caters for a knockout for Naoya Inoue. He's a sharpshooter. Okay, you can't make too many mistakes in front of him, and you can't do too many mistakes without him making the proper reads to knock you out. Case in point, Donaire is a Hall of Famer, three-division world champion, multiple world champion. He has fought in multiple a lot of world championship fight. He's a seasoned veteran. Okay, meaning he has a tons of fighting experience. He knows where to be in front of his opponent. He knows what side to be. He knows what punches you can throw at him and what he expects at where he's at in front of you. When he steps in, it's for a reason. He already has his angle on you. He knows what punch he's going to try to land and how he's setting you up. The fact that Naoya Inoue outsmarted a Hall of Fame, such a decorated champion, with a punch like that he didn't see coming, you don't do that every day to those type of men. That was real skill right there. You have to recognize what just happened there. You don't knock out a man like that with a punch like that. And, once he has you hurt, he is a finisher. He is one of the best finishers in the game right now. If you wobble in front of him, it's over. It is over. Okay. So, look, Luis Nari is going to come into this fight. I hope to see that his defense is a little bit more defensively sound. I believe he has a puncher's chance. Luis Narez is a tough Mexican, and you know that Mexicans can take an ass whooping. It's just for how long, okay? Tapales and Stephen Kubo Fulton showed that they could take his power as bigger men in the earlier half parts of the fight. He's not just knocking these guys with these one-hitter quitters like he was at 115 and 118. As you can see, these guys at 122, in fact, can take his punching power, but for how long? Because he does hit hard all night. Okay. And one thing I have seen tested for the young man is his gas tank. He can go 12 round, and it looks like he can probably go another 12 right after that. So you're not going to drag him into deep waters. I don't really think that there's too many people that can match him skill for skill. What he would have to do is time his punches well, be defensively sound, Luis Narez, and not take a lot of unnecessary damage. Don't stand in front of him. Stay on your bike, cut some angles, and at least work on three different styles in the gym where that you can sustain them. Three different looks. Um, Even if you're playing it off, you got a good, okay defense on it. You can shift on it, and then in the middle, switch back up to where you're at. But it will be something that'll give him guessing just for enough time for you to breathe. And he'll be like, "What is he doing? Some new shit? What's this? What's this?" Just just you need that. But a style that also has an offense, well, that it'll put something in his face. Luis Nari has to put punches in his face too, you know. Um, and whether or not he'll have the gas tank to pull this off, it's easier said than done. These men are not machines. You see what I'm saying? They have to breathe at some point in the fight. The problem is that's what he looks for. When he sees the fighter wants to take kind of like the round off, he doesn't let you take the round off. He doesn't let you breathe. He doesn't let you think. He doesn't want you comfortable. There is nothing going to be comfortable in that night, in that fight. And he's going to want to fight you. Yeah, he's been in every situation, any kind of fight, every style of opponent, I believe. Some of the styles of fighters that, like crazy enough, lose Lopez there, that crazy little lunging style he has. And every single time I say someone's going to knock this guy out, it doesn't seem they can catch up to him. I find that hard to believe against a guy like this, but it's always those crazy ones, isn't it? You know, it's always those wild fighters, that get that one shot. I mean, the guy can hit hard, he can crack. As you can see, he's the world champion for a reason. Lopez, he's cracking these guys. He beat the shit out of that Japanese dude. And, he closed his eye like it was shut. I don't think he could see out of that eye, so he didn't see no more of those punches, so yeah. Let me read a few of your comments. All right, what's up, baby, in the building? How you guys doing out there? Let me know what you think. Some likes up in here. Is the show good or what? Come on, guys. Can we get some likes? Let's read some of these comments. Lionheart. Okay, yeah, I read that one. I felt like it was over too when he got knocked out in that first round. But look, a part of me wants me to believe that Francis Ngannou underestimated Anthony Joshua's power. He didn't think that he had enough pop, seeing the fact that, you know, he was criticized and he might have let that thing, oh no, I'm getting hit with 4-ounce gloves. His power, his camp's telling him he ain't gonna be able to hurt you. And I think he thought he could walk through Anthony's and Joshua's power. Francis Ngannou. I think at some point he thought he could, and Anthony Joshua was like, "Are you crazy, bro? Do you do you notice we're like practically the same size, right? I was the heavyweight champion 2 times over. Here, let me show you how I became that. Boom, bro, like that, bro. That's that. Listen, he told him. He said, listen,
You want to feel how hard I can punch?
and he cracked them. And I don't think Francis Ngannou had his wits after that first one. I thought it was a flash knockdown, to tell you the truth. I thought he hit him with a jab and he sat him down and he caught him kind of like off balance. But when they showed the instant replay, I saw his jaw go. I was like, ooh, that was just a straight right. He sat him down. I was like, yo, and then what the shot that they should have stopped the fight when he knocked him down the second time in the second round with that hook like that monster hook, they should have just stopped the fight right there. The referee, when he was in the corner like that, just before he got hit with the final shot, that's when they should have stopped the fight for me. Right there. He stops it right there and walks out on his shield on that. It doesn't look that bad. But the way he got stretched out, that was worse. That was yo, the Prince was like, fuck that referee. If this dude is hurt, let him finish him. Yo, because the Saudis are investing in boxing. How embarrassing would it be for a mixed martial art guy come out and beat your top guys that you're trying to invest in? If you want the sport of boxing to rise and for this to one day be profitable for the Saudis, you see them, they're in everything now. They're in UFC fights. You see all the Saudis sitting there chilling, right, at the fights. And then they're in boxing now. So the Prince told them, right? It was no secret. The announcer said that shit. The commentary dude, he said it about what the Prince said. It's not like it was a secret. That's how I found out about it. He told him, he said, yo, don't let this dude come into our sport and beat our top guys. He told him, the Prince himself told him. He was like, and Anthony Joshua told him, Your Excellency, I'm going to go out there and perform my job. I think that's why he was so fucking focused, bro. He was like, yo, listen, I want to be invited back here. I want part of this. And they are paying me heftily. and they did. They paid him heftily to do a job, and he went out there and executed. That's what you pay for, right? You got your money's worth. Yeah, I mean, when you put a hit out on a motherfucker, you want to make sure it's done right. All right? You got to get the right man for the job. Anthony Joshua, come here. Take care of this. Fucking Tyson Fury fucked around, made us look bad. Made this guy look like he was doing something. I want you to stop all these antics. I want you to end this parade. I want you to put restore boxing back to the glory. Yeah. And he knocked him out. Back to glory. And he went out there and he dusted him off. You know, Lionheart, what up, baby? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did look like him. Japan is going to get even with it. Well, I guess you could kind of look at it like that, but Japan and Mexico lately, they've been on a battle. Now you got to remember that Mexico just went up one on them the other night when you had Lopez go up against Abe. That was Japan against Mexico, and Mexico won. You see? So, and in Japan right now has 9 world champions. I believe Mexico right now, shit, I didn't look it up. I think they got 6. I think they got 6 legitimate and without counting, well, I think the 9 would be counting some of Japan's interims. I think 2 of them have interim. I'm not sure. I had to recheck it all out. But Japan's been making some noise in the lower weight divisions, and it seems like they've been going back and forth with Mexico, pow, 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 because those kind of guys dominate like the lower weight divisions. You know what I mean? And then you got the Philippines in there coming in, sliding in, and everything. So yeah, yeah. So they've been going back and forth. So will it kind of like look because of the storyline? You know, he beat his champion. We all know it, right? It kind of would put him up one, right? And then on the card, right? I believe there's another Mexican fighter fighting on that Japanese card. I had announced some of the fighters, but not all of them. I'm going to, as we get closer, I'm going to read off the full, everyone that's on that card. There are a lot of good fighters. Jason Maloney on it. Naoya Inoue's kid brothers on it as well. Yeah, so I had to check on that to see if there were any Mexican fighters on that card. I believe that there was. I will get back to you on that. But yeah, yeah, they'll probably go up one on him on that one. Um, seeing that the fact that Inoue is the heaviest Japanese champion. So if you're thinking about are any of the heavy other weight divisions got, you know, no, he's the heaviest champion. He might not be the heaviest Japanese fighter. There are other fighters that are up there, but they're just not champions yet. But as for champions, he's the heaviest one. So that's at 122. Yeah. Yeah. He cleaned his clock, bro. He cleaned his clock. Listen, it was brutal, but it was necessary. Yeah, it was necessary. Damn, I got a lot of coffee beans at the bottom. You know when you pour it and it doesn't always get those grounds. I just got a coffee ground. Ah. So yeah, but it was necessary. It was necessary in a lot of different ways because it restores, the balance. And there was a disturbance in the force. Order needed to be restored. You know what I mean? And that was a good way to do it. I'm not denying the fact that I still want to see Francis Ngannou, although this took place. I would like to see him pursue boxing. I don't think that he's the type of man that's a quitter. Gets beaten in one thing. He was beaten before in the UFC by Steve Miocic. He was beaten at a title shot, and he rebuilt himself back up from there. He can do it again. I know he's getting up there in age, but he's still got 2, 3, 4 fights, good fights, and they can be real good money fights. And you give yourself two good, decent money fights and worthy opponents, build yourself up like Anthony Joshua's doing, and you might be able to relive one of those fights with either Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua. Or you may get the fight you wanted with Dante Wilder if he's willing to come back. You see? So I'll still watch and Francis Ngannou, but yes, this did have to happen. Yes, if you ask me. Yes, it did. You know? So yeah, guys, man, listen. This is my morning show that went into 3 o'clock. Okay. And I wanted to get on again probably later on tonight or something. Keep this rolling. A lot of these live streams is to prepare me to get better at covering the sport, and taking your questions and having live reactions. I don't got a script here. I just speak from what I know, and I try to give you the best boxing content I can. And if you don't want to hear like these boring ass boxing TV YouTube channels, come here. We'll make it interesting for you. Here at Round One Sports Talk, I'm always your host. It's been my pleasure. Give the video a like. Show me your support. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell icon so when I'm always loading a video, you'll be informed. Thank you for everything. Signing out here. I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace.